So let's take a moment and not let this opportunity pass us by. Let's get up and give somebody a hug, say hi to somebody, look in somebody's eyes, let them know that they matter. Sweet, sweet spirit, made a way out of no way. And that's why I testify. No matter how hard. Oh my God. Yeah. Yeah. Is that Sean? Yeah, it's good. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Thank you. Love you too. Whoa, whoa. All I need is a man. Oh, yeah. That's why I testify. Yes. That all I need is a man. Sweet, sweet, sweet. Made a way out of no way. That's why. Oh my goodness. Woo, okay. Woo. Thank you. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. It's good. Feels good. Yeah. So today we are continuing on in our talk about money. That's what we're talking about this month. Our theme, trust, all my needs are met. So, the principles we are working with today, principle number 2. We believe in the individualization of the Spirit in us, and that all people are individualizations of the one Spirit. Principle number 5. We believe the ultimate goal of life to be a complete freedom from all discord of every nature, and that this goal is sure to be attained by all. Number 11. We believe in our own soul, our own spirit, and our own destiny, for we understand that the life of all is God. The spiritual principles, you can find them in the back of your seats as a trifold. I think they are there. Take it home with you. Spend some time with it. Get familiar with it. So, I might as well tell you right off the bat. Today, we're having a grown-up conversation. And like my mama used to tell me, this ain't for kids. Go to your room. This is for grown-ups. So I'm giving you a second, a quick second. If you don't feel like being grown up today, go to your room. Because this is for grown-ups. Grown-up stuff. Giving. Because the thing is this. If you are here to change your life, and you say you want to change your life, you have to get engaged, start to practice the principles. It's grown-up stuff. And many of us are willing to practice the principles except when it comes to giving. We say, oh, we want the divine power and presence of God to guide us, lead us, and direct us. Just don't tell me what to give, where to give, and how much to give. We're talking about grown-up stuff. The divine power and presence of God will always lead you, guide you, and direct you in your giving. It's the sweetness of it all. It's grown-up stuff. And so, if you do not want to engage in the principle of giving, then you might as well settle on knowing within yourself that you're just here to fellowship. And that's okay, if that's what you want to do. But if you want to change your life, you have to give. It's steeped in the principles, grown-up stuff. So, Proverbs 4:7 says this from the Bible. Wisdom is the most important thing, so get wisdom. If it costs everything you have, get understanding. Wisdom is the most important thing, so get wisdom. And if it costs you everything you have, get understanding. Our problem is we don't understand giving. We don't understand the idea of tithing. I'm going to say it. Grown-up stuff. We don't understand the word tithing and giving. So we have to begin to understand the principles. Understand the principles of giving. We have to begin to understand money if we want to have more money in our life. If you don't understand it, money won't come to you. So you have to understand it. We have to understand it. One of the principles we say here, and one of the principles we live by is this. We say that principle is not bound by precedent. In other words, what you experienced yesterday doesn't mean that that'll be your experience today. The thoughts you had about yesterday, the thoughts that you had from years ago, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 5 years ago, 50 years ago, whatever that experience was with money, it doesn't mean that that's going to be your experience tomorrow. Because when you use the principles, you will change. You're not the same person. So you can't draw to you what you were. You draw to you what you are. And so when we speak of giving, most times we think of giving to others. But the truth is that giving is giving to yourself first. All giving is given to yourself first. So I want to read just a little bit from Ernest Holmes' Living the Science of Mind, and I'm reading from page 346. The title of this reading is Getting and Giving. Ernest says that one of the laws of radiation says that the absorbing power of a substance is equal to its emitting power, which means that the ones that absorb the most must be the ones which emit the most. Or to state the proposition in another way, we can take in only what we give out. Jesus said, "Give, and it shall be given unto you." Now here is a law in nature verified by science. And we believe that every law in physical nature is reproduced in the laws of mind. This would have to be so if the universe is one system rather than two, and if unity is to be maintained throughout the whole. There is a reason for these things, and the reason is that everything moves in a circle. Everything bends back upon itself. As a man sows, so shall he reap. And so must he reap until he sows differently. He says this: each one of us is a point in the mind, in the infinite mind, a center in the consciousness of God or the living spirit. We do not live because we understand life or even put life into our own living. We live because life lives in us. We can make no greater mistake than to think that we created either life or law, but it would be an equal error to suppose that we escape life or law. We are subject to it, but not in any predetermined sense. For no matter what happened yesterday, we can change its sequence today. If we have given out but little and received only an equal amount, we can begin to give out more, and just as surely as we do this, more will return to us. The giving and receiving are at the center of our own being. The going out from us is but one end of the coming back to us. And the coming back to us is merely the other end of the going out from us. If the going out and the coming back are equal, then in a certain sense, like the energy and mass of Einstein, they are equal, identical, and interchangeable. To refuse to give is to refuse to live to the fullest extent. To refuse to give is to refuse to live to the fullest extent. To refuse to give love is to refuse to receive love. That which we refuse to give out not only closes the door on the giving, but on the receiving as well. So one of the things about this teaching is that it gives us an opportunity, this awesome opportunity, this invitation to always be taking inventory. To always be taking inventory of our life. And so today, since we are talking about giving, we should be taking inventory around what we have to give. You should be taking inventory around what you have to give. You got to look at it and see what you have to give. Not only do you look at what you have to give, look at what you have, and then look at what you have to give. That's two parts. Look at what you have, and then look at what you have to give. You also have to look at your thoughts about what you have, and you also have to look at your thoughts about what you have to give. But what we find, though, is when it comes to giving, really giving anything, but since we're talking about money today, when we start to talk about giving money, generally, our thoughts immediately seem to go back to the past. Especially when we're talking about giving money to the center or giving money to a church. I got to say these words because we got to work through it. See, we don't get to get by it. We don't get to bypass. We don't get to put it somewhere else. We have to be present with it. And so the thing is that we all understand reaping and sowing. We understand that what we give, we get. You understand that what you give, you get. And the centerpiece collectively, what we give, we get. The same law applies to us. So, what stops us from giving? If we understand the principles, what stops us from giving? If we are sure to get what we give, what stops us from giving? The past. Sometimes we are so turned off from the past. And if you are so turned off from the past, that means you're spending a lot of time in the past. We're turned off when it comes to money because of the past. And it's the same principle in all areas of your life. It's something in a loving relationship. If somebody did something that you didn't want them to do or didn't work the way you wanted it to work, oftentimes you're turned off from love for the rest of your life. You don't understand the principle. I'm talking about grown-up stuff today. And so the other thing that we have to be aware of is race consciousness. Because a lot of our thoughts about money, about giving, about tithing comes from the race consciousness. Whatever ideas and ideals that we've heard along the way that has taken hold of us and has us so held so tightly that we don't even know how to get rid of it. We don't even know how to break the chains. Or we don't allow the principles to work for us in our lives. We're so caught up in it, we just don't even allow the principles to work for in our lives. We don't even give it a chance. We don't even give it a chance. Or is it that we have not got clear about what we have to give? And if that's the case, then you'll know this is the case for you because you'll always be questioning your getting. If you don't know what you have to give, you'll always be questioning the principles. If you don't know what you have to give, you'll always be questioning whether or not the law is working for you. So get clear about what it is that you have to give. Look at it. What do I have to give? What do I have and what do I have to give? And when you take inventory, what you'll find is that you'll find out what you don't have to give. You'll find out that you think you've been giving something, but really you haven't. You'll find out what you don't have to give. And what you do have to give, you'll find out that you might have been holding on to it, or that you are holding on to it. The good and the not so good. You're holding on to all of it. But anything you hold on to that you don't use is static. See, change is ever evolving, expanding, growing. So the good and the bad. And so whatever our experience is in life, with money, with love, whatever it is that you are working with right now, we're working with money, we have to be willing to own it. We have to be willing to see our part in it, if we have a part in it. If you are doing grown-up things, you'll see that you have a part in it. You always have a part in it. And your part really is only the part that matters. If you are using the principles to change your life. So we have to see our part. I'm talking to us individually again, and I'm talking to the Center of Peace. When it comes to money, we have to see our part in it. And the stories that we tell about the money that we have, or the money that we don't have, or what we're doing with the money that we do have, or what they're doing with the money that we do have. At least what we think, what you think we're doing with the money that we have. We have to own our part in it, in the story, so that we can see then the things that we're putting in our way. So that we become less concerned about what we have to lose, I said this last week, and more focused on what we have to gain. When it comes to giving, most of us are so concerned about what we're giving away that we lose focus about what we are gaining. Giving is about your divine relationship with God. Giving is about knowing that when you are led, guided, and directed to give your love, to give your time, to give your money, to give your resources, you give. Because you know what's coming back. You've taken inventory. You know what you are giving. And you know how the law works. As you sow, shall you reap. And the reaping is 1,000,000 times fold. You haven't gone in and to establish a relationship with the divine power and presence of God if you are resisting, if any area in your life you refuse to give, not just with money, but with anything. And so, when we know we have to give, we begin to expect more. when we are giving from that place where we're being led, guided, and directed, where we know that all of our needs are met, we gain a greater sense of expectancy. We start to give with a great sense of expectancy. That the love I give will be peace in my life that I can't even imagine. You give with a sense of expectancy. The money that I give, I know is going to return to me from many, many, many sources. The peace that I give in this moment, I know is going to